Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've done a video, but I felt the need to do it because we are entering into an exciting and excruciating phase of human evolutionary development. And I keep hearing the same thing over and over again, which is, why do so many people in this world seem like they are in the midst of mass hypnosis? Like nothing there. You look at them, you talk to them, all there is just talk, 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 talk. They're literally about the narratives, whatever side of the narrative, like they're just fixated on a story of what they think is happening based upon their own conditioning growing up and influenced by whatever, the people, the media, the this, that, the other. And why and how has it created what looks to be a mass hypnosis? And this isn't accidental. So let's take all the new age fluff out of this. Let's look at this from a really objective perspective, because it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you believe. None of that has any relevance compared to what you can observe. And everything that I'm going to share with you in this, you can go out into the world and observe for yourself. Okay? So first, let's start with this. Me, you, we as a species, and all other species are bioelectromagnetic beings. That means that there's some pulse causing my heart to beat, some force of energy, electricity causing my heart to beat. It also means that when I think a thought to raise my hand, a proliferation of an incalculable amount of neurons just fire and go off in my brain, in my arm, in my whole body, and cause me to lift my arm and hand up. So we are bioelectric beings. We are subatomic, like to a degree that we are incapable of recognizing at our current personal and collective state of evolutionary development. And we're not capable of recognizing it because we have not developed the ability to up the amplitude of frequency or energy potential within our body, because nobody ever taught us the importance of doing that. And as a result of nobody ever having taught us the importance of doing that, we by default have focused on the world around us instead of the world inside of us. Now, the world around us is a big place, right? Like you could talk about it in two different ways, really. There's the world around us, like in my backyard, you could see it just snowed last night. There's the beautiful world, the natural universe. So when you're not in a city and you're out in the woods, you have a living celestial being right under you, right? We all do. It's right there. It's alive. Every ecosystem on it is connected to it and a part of it. And this is consistent across the entire celestial terrestrial landscape. Inner and outer, it's all interconnected. And this is the physical aspect of it. There's a non-physical component that interacts with all of the other celestial bodies in the universe through, like my friend Martha says, fine gossamer-like threads. And the more you up the amplitude of your body to become conscious of the nature of your consciousness, the more you activate these dormant perceptual centers that allow you to be able to perceive these fine gossamer-like web of life geometries that connect every living thing. Point being, whether it's physical or non-physical, everything is interconnected. And the more we evolve, especially willingly evolve as a species, the more we activate the dormant aspects of our perceptual abilities to the degree that this web of interconnectivity starts to become reality. It's not a figment of imagination. It's not, oh my God, I think it's happening. It's real. And when you start to become conscious of it as actually being there, and you're seeing it, and you're hearing it, and you're feeling it, you eventually get taken on a journey with it. Meaning, the more you focus on it, the less this world ceases to exist, because that energy, that web of life, is actually more powerful and potent and profound than this temporary experience that we're having in these bodies. Yet everything is inverse, and so it seems like that doesn't matter. And the things relating to what we've been taught it means to be human, take significance. They take priority in what we value, right? So, okay, so one, we are bioelectric beings. You can realize that by what else is doing it. It's obvious. Like when I'm moving my hand and doing this, what is causing it? A cascade, a plethora of bioelectric activity. So one, and find out what's beating the heart. Look into it. You think it's nothing? There is something causing the heart to beat, and it is bioelectric in nature. Study any of the doctors. Look into what the great doctors of the past. Every organ in our body is a bioelectric organ. Okay, so that's one. Two, we are composed of water and minerals in these bodies. Okay, and we are predominantly water. I mean, we are water, like there is so much water. Water is that anomalous, strange, beautiful, magnificent element that requires the utmost respect as far as the reverence, as far as having reverence for its sanctity and how sacred it actually is, because it is not only what allows new life to come into the world, it is the antenna, the interface for which consciousness is allowed to animate form. And this is not just something, oh yeah, whatever, pass it off. This is a big deal. Maybe the biggest deal ever. But people would rather watch Netflix or this or that. Really? I would much rather watch the bioelectricity happening in and around this entire experience, because to me, that's way more fascinating and way more in alignment with what is to be. Meaning that when and if this body ceases to end, that which we are in ignorance of will come to the front and center of our awareness. And at that point, it's kind of too late. We're already in it. We left the body. We can come to terms with this while we're in here, in this body, and that is a miracle. So, but I'm digressing. Point two, we are water and minerals. And the minerals that we are, okay, the water acts like an antenna, and the minerals also act like an antenna in that it's a whole bunch of different minerals. I mean, tons of minerals, tons of metals. And metal, okay, as well as some minerals, are conductors of electromagnetic activity. You know, like when you go to the store and you buy a bottle of water, it says it's got electrolytes in it. Electrolytes are fine trace minerals that are assimilable by the human body to the degree that electrical activity is able to be conducted with these specific trace minerals or electrolytes. That's what they really are. Okay, the bottles of water you buy at the store are a scam. They're not real electrolytes. And if they are, they've been adulterated or ruined or whatever, but also that's besides the point. So, one, we are bioelectric beings. Two, we are predominantly water and mineral-based beings that are both antennas, okay? So if we are spending our time becoming conscious of the nature of consciousness itself and prioritizing it, then we are taking the antenna-like bioreceptivity of our organic being and the act of giving it attention allows that attention or that awareness to expand, to grow, to become stronger. It ups the amplitude of the frequency potential in and around our entire being. And when you start doing that, amazing things happen. Things that we don't have words for begin to happen. Now, that's also besides the point. Let's get back on point here. I said that for a reason, but it's not the point that I'm getting to. So 3, if we are not focused on this organic bioelectric antenna that is our consciousness, that is the water and minerals in our body, then by default we are not, and we're also not focused on the physical or non-physical universe around us, under us, above us, then we're probably focused on a very narrow bandwidth of energetic activity taking place on this planet right now. Okay, and this is where it's going to get more real, called human perception. Okay, let's call it that for the sake of this talk. What is human perception? Or what has it become at this point? Because right now, we as a species have gotten to the degree where the amount of artificial electricity, artificial intelligence, artificial food, artificial everything, that it is at a level that is so extreme that were we to become conscious of it, we would probably melt down, because it is so pervasive, this bioelectricity. Now, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet. We had dial phones that you pick up and dial and call. Now they are, now everything, the entire world is based upon artificial intelligence. Everything there is, period. So here's the issue with all that. And we've gotten to this point of a narrow bandwidth of human perception because ever since we were born and raised, no matter what generation we are in, we have been socially conditioned or socially engineered to accept quote unquote artificial things as normal. They're just part of our world. Like you go to the store, you buy a box of cereal that is artificial colors or flavors, or you buy almost any processed food that says artificial on it. Then bit by bit over time, you are creating neural synaptic connections in your head that are used to witnessing that which is artificial all around you, and thus accepting it as just a self-evident normal part of life. Now, here's where this gets messed up. When it comes to physical items and an artificial color and things like that, okay, whatever, it is what it is. But when we cross the boundary from what appears to be artificial physical things into non-physical artificial things, and what I mean by that is electromagnetic frequencies, X-rays, there's so many radio waves, there's so many different waves that are being emitted, our Wi-Fi in our house, the Wi-Fi in our phones. And now the amount of towers that anybody can look at anywhere in the world, towers, everywhere we go, for the most part, they're fucking putting in towers. It's crazy. Like, right? Go out and look around and tell me if you do not see that. Excuse my language. I swear out of love. Because I'm trying to get a point home that if more people recognize and were aware of, it would help all of us. Okay? So, sorry, I want to get this picture of the snow in the background. It's beautiful. So, here's what happens. With the amount, we're already socially engineered to accept artificial things as being okay or a part of our world or normal. Now, this has all been primer, getting us prepared to accept the quintessence of what is artificial, and that is artificial intelligence. That is the simulation of what appears to be real, but isn't from an organic bioelectric place, and it is from a fabricated, synthetic, artificially intelligent place. Okay? And I know that sounded kind of weird and maybe hard to follow, but here's the takeaway in this. We, again, back to this, we are made of water and minerals. We are bioelectric antennas. That's what the human body is. And when we are and whether or not somebody believes in chemtrails or whatever, it's not too hard to figure out that anything, even a car, is going to create, from the combustion in the engine, is going to create heavy metals and chemicals and things that go in the air. So our air, our food, our water, our everything is being filled with all kinds of chemicals. No, sorry, not just chemicals, minerals. It's being put into the everything. And then we take that, we put it in us. We know that. You look into the sea, a whale or a dolphin or a tuna has so much mercury and heavy metals in it that they say not to touch them or eat them. Poor things, you know? So do we. We have the same thing. There are so much heavy metals and minerals and toxins in our body that we shouldn't be eating either. I'm not a big fan of eating humans, but you might not be either. But if you are, I'll do my best not to try to judge that. Sorry, just being funny. Here's the point. This is the takeaway. With the amount of metals and chemicals and and stuff that is being put into the atmosphere that is then incorporated into our body through food and water and all that, then with the amount of radio waves, x-rays, frequencies, from satellite waves, whatever, I don't know what they are and I don't care what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about. With the amount of all of that, we are taking the organic, bioelectric, we're taking the organic force that is in us, that is being held together by the water and the minerals of our body, which are receptors. Okay, they're antenna of our consciousness. And we are bombarding it with artificial consciousness, you could say, artificial intelligence, to the degree where it's become so normalized that nobody even questions it. And do we know the extent of what is capable of this? No, but I can assure you the possibility and extent of it is damn near infinite compared to what we are conscious of. Now, organic intelligence, you could say, whether you believe in God or whether you are aware enough to recognize that the natural living world is connected by some kind of intelligent force that allows it to all exist. And same thing, if we get a cut, how our body knows how to heal on its own, obviously there's some greater invisible form of intelligence that's allowing all of that to happen. But we don't really acknowledge it, you know? And so because we're not acknowledging it, we are by default allowing the organic bioelectric aspect of our beautiful human consciousness to become bombarded and subjected to the artificial, invisible energy that is being created by all of these human or whatever they are made devices that are everywhere that everybody's normalizing. Okay, so does that create some kind of mass hypnosis? Let's see. You have a choice. You could be influenced by the organic bioelectric energies of this gossamer-like web of interconnectivity that is the entire universe. Or you can just totally ignore all of that and focus on the metaverse and all the things that come with it, all our creature comforts that we're all so into. And most people don't even recognize that that's a choice. And as a result, by default, they get funneled into focusing on the synthetic form of consciousness, of artificial intelligence. Now, let's look further ahead. Okay, so that's all stuff you can see on your own. Okay, we are bioelectric beings. You can look that up. Every organ in the body is bioelectric. 2, we are water and minerals. Water and minerals. Okay, we know that. Maybe water is a harder thing to prove because people maybe aren't that aware of it yet, but we know that metals are conductors of bioelectricity, of electricity, and whether bioelectricity or artificial electricity. And we have plenty of metals inside of us. All of us do, plenty of it. Minerals do too. There's natural minerals that conduct bioelectric energy. They have negative and positive electrodes inside of the crystals or the ore or the metals. It's fascinating. So, and then the third thing, as a result of being bombarded by all of these artificial energies, which you can go out and see too. Look at all the towers. Look at your phone. Look at the Wi-Fi. Look at like go into a city and have your Wi-Fi thing on your phone and look at how many other people have Wi-Fi. Oh my God, we're being bombarded by invisible, non-physical. I don't even want to, they're not non-physical. They actually are physical because they are affecting physical matter. So they're just invisible. So we're being bombarded by invisible, artificial frequencies, energies that are preventing us from becoming conscious of the power of our own organic intelligence, organic innate intelligence that we know it's there, right? It causes the body to heal. You get cut and the body knows how to heal. So obviously there's an intelligence there, but we, for the most part, are not giving priority to it. And as a result, all this artificial stuff keeps popping up everywhere. So, okay, all that you can go out and see for yourself. Now let's go a little bit deeper and I'll conclude this talk soon. Let's go a little bit deeper into what this could lead us into and to what we can do about it. Okay, so what it could lead us into is by default, because no one ever taught us how powerful the organic power inside of us actually is, by default, we are focused on the inorganic, artificial intelligence that emerges through human consciousness and their acceptance of it. Okay, do you get that? Another way of saying it is people believe everything they hear and see, or whether they don't, they believe it to a degree. And so everybody's essentially talking about and focusing on the same thing, no matter what side of the spectrum. Okay, we're not talking about anything here except for consciousness. You know, you can divide it further, create more division, which we're great at doing as a species by breaking into politics, breaking into religion, breaking into countries, breaking into town. Like, people love divide, right? They love duality. They love division. That's what keeps us from becoming conscious of the nature of consciousness itself. So, nobody taught us how important it is. So by default, we are being subjected to the artificial energies that are all around us. And B, as a result of being unconsciously, for the most part, being so heavily influenced by the artificial energy that is being bombarded at us like never before through radio towers, through satellites, through everything, right in our own homes, right on our own phones, right? Like, the human body itself is becoming a vehicle for artificial intelligence to be able to do its job, which is to cut us off from the remembrance of how powerful our organic intelligence is and get us to do the work for it. And what's it trying to do? It is essentially trying to create a system where it's trying to procreate, just like organic life procreates. It wants to create more of itself. So that means more computers, more robots, more crazy frequencies to be able to activate and work all this stuff. So anyway, it could go deeper and deeper and deeper, and people want to talk about aliens. My God, is there a more alien element than artificial intelligence? I mean, really, think about it. Think about how fast it came out of nowhere and how much it's affecting us. And still, people, no, it's so great, my technology. So we've come to a crossroads. By default, we are unconsciously allowing artificial intelligence to plug itself into the organic intelligence of our being to the degree where we're becoming more and more disempowered from remembering how powerful the organic intelligence is within our body, and we are prioritizing the connection that we're not even conscious of to this artificial synthetic frequency, and it is taking over the entire world. You think it loves us? You think it cares about us? I don't feel that from it. I know I love, I know I care. I also know that were I to love greater than the fear of what all this stuff can mean, could I potentially create a healthy relationship with all that? Of course, let's be optimistic. But on the other side, let's also look at, as I conclude this, what can we do to really overcome this, to not let synthetic, artificial, everything be the predominant focus of human consciousness? What do? It means that, because we're all doing it no matter what, right? Like, we're all a part of it. There's almost like no way out of it, it seems, but there is. And the way out of it, let me show you this. Look at this kitty. Look at this girl. She's laying there. Hi, sweet girl. Yes. And that's Venus. Venus the kitty. Good girl. Yes, I'll pet you in a moment. So here, and me showing her is for a reason. She came up right as I was about to say what I'm going to say, and that is attention. But not just any attention, it's loving attention. It's choosing to love the organic, natural aspect of our own consciousness and how it interrelates with all of the bioelectric organs of our body that have evolved over infinity, right in harmony, for the most part, with the same terrestrial and celestial forces that hold it all together and allow it to keep existing. When we prioritize giving our attention to the aspect of ourself that can love greater than the fear that is preventing us from being able to continuously focus on this loving aspect of ourselves, when we can do that and we continue doing that while at the same time having tremendous reverence for water, for minerals, for the elements of our body that are the true antenna of frequencies. When we can love these aspects of ourself from the organic, natural consciousness that we all truly are, then we begin to up the amplitude, the frequency potential of our body's ability to be able to become conscious of greater, deeper, more profound, and more powerful levels of consciousness. Okay? And we're at a crossroads here. Do we love the organic nature of life, or do we love the metaverse more? Which one? I mean, which one? Because whatever one you focus on, you're going to amplify. And having been through at least 10 real near-death experiences, none of this simulation garbage exists when the soul starts to become untethered from the body. So why would we give so much attention to it here now? Why? So I hope that helps bring some clarity to something that all of us are experiencing. No matter who you think you are, no matter what you believe, no matter who you voted for, no matter who you pray to, we all are facing the exact same thing. And the only thing that and I'm not just somebody who takes this lightly. I'm somebody who has been put in situations where, they say the word, like the saying, do or die. For me, it's love and live forever, or I'm trying to think of a good expression to say, but essentially love or die was my choice. I had to learn to love greater than my fear of death and of getting raped and of getting killed and of being hurt and all the terrible things that were really actually empowering learning experiences, because I chose not to be the victim. And going to prison, of course. And now many are starting to feel like we're all in a prison. But the prison isn't out there nearly as much as it's in here. And everything that I spoke to tonight, and the reprioritization of values of loving the organic, innate intelligence of our being more than the artificial aspect of what appears to be so predominant all around us, and that everybody's talking about, and that everybody's addicted to, because let's call it what it is. They are addicted to it. If enough of us start doing that, we are going to feel what it's like to know the fine gossamer-like energetic threads of the web of life, of interconnectivity to all that truly is and ever will be. And when you start to become conscious of that, you start to break down in tears and you start to cry because your heart opens wide, and you remember at the same time that you're crying that you always knew, you never forgot. And the more we choose as men, as women, as whatever it is that we think we are, the more we choose to prioritize knowing ourselves as the soul we truly are, the more it is going to come in and help us do the work that's required in order to get back to a place where the organic receptivity of our bodies, and most especially our way of life, has the potential to be restored. So thank you. Let me know if this brought up any questions or thoughts or feelings or whatever. And yeah, thank you. I love you all, and I appreciate you giving me the time to express all of this. Talk to you soon. Bye.